This is your daily market review for Wednesday, November 20th, 2024. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, your daily market review, Wednesday, November 20th, 2024. Hopefully you're having a great day. As we talked about, the market was going to be sloppy, choppy, kind of nothing until Nvidia's earnings. We got the oversold bounce last couple days and then nothing really much today. After hours, we have their earnings, and we're going to talk about that. Talk about also just in general the markets, what to anticipate now moving forward as we go into the end of the year, how to play it, best way to manage it, and again, just to be safe, because I think we all know that there's a lot of potential downside action, but also there's a lot of hype about what could happen next year. This is the question you have to ask yourself. Are you trading something that's overvalued or undervalued? Are you looking at CAPE measurements and measurements of GDP to market cap that are at extremes, or are you looking for the long term just to hold and buy? Well, again, you got to decide what's best for you and determine your risk reward profile. I personally think there's way better shorts in the semiconductor sector. We've talked about that endlessly. And there's also opportunities in other sectors, materials, commodities, and you got to trade them accordingly. And again, if you're not trading, then know your levels. Make sure you're comfortable holding and define your risk. So if you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room, link description below. If you have any questions about real estate, you're looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate, drop me a DM. Love to help you out. Refer you to some of the best agents in the country and an exclusive network that helps find the best agents in the country in your area. Again, EXP is also awesome. I have 100,000 agents worldwide. Love to help you out. It's like you click on realtor.com, Zillow, any other portal. They're going to put you in touch with an agent. But the difference is I'm going to actually give a shit. I'm actually going to be involved in the transaction. Unlike Zillow or realtor.com, any of these things, they're not going to do anything. And so you will get two for the price of one. And my strong points in negotiation, understanding the markets, understanding how buyers and sellers work. Love to help out. Again, let me help you find the best agent. Again, don't just work with anybody you know. Again, it's like if you had, this is the biggest asset potentially in your portfolio, your whole life, and you're going to give it and allow someone who doesn't know what they're doing to take care of it. That just frustrates me sometimes. Connolly, use the link in the description below. Check out the Twitter. Follow, like, drop, and post tiers. Check out the education videos on the YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Feel free to leave a donation. Thanks. You can either hit the code in the link in the description below, or if you're on YouTube, hit the thanks button. I appreciate it. 99 cents, 50 cents, I don't care. Whatever. If you've shown appreciation for what the insights of this channel have given you, then hell yeah. Again, it's all for free. You do what you got to do. TradingAgent.com. Again, tons of resources here. Holler at your boy. All right. We know CME watch tool. Rates seem to be stuck. And again, I personally understand. They're waiting to see what's going to happen. Come on, refresh. We know there's supposed to be a rate cut next on December 18th, but I don't know if you're going to get it. Bitcoin's been holding up pretty well. I'm expecting 98,000 at some point. I don't know why you wouldn't hit the 2x range. Either way, I think near term it's overbought. Just be safe. If you're expecting the big monster move, it's possible. But again, I don't like trading low probabilities. I would rather take profits, even if it's partial, just to hang out, watch, see what happens. Oil, chopping around the range lows. Again, we like oil. We like natural gas long term as well. Personally think that both, again, they have risk of the downside, just like anything, like all these assets. They flush the baby out with the bathwater. I was watching natural gas today. It actually made some nice moves today. We'll see what happens if it continues on. Keep an eye on it. Again, long-term, love natty gas. Dollar, King Dollar, again, Trump Dollar, whatever you want to call it. Well, holding up pretty damn well. Bonds, again, it makes sense that they're bottoming down here. Auction went off. Nothing really crazy. You either need massive deflation and weakening markets, or you're going to see interest rates chop around at this point, in my opinion. I don't know if the trade's really there until you get some levels, but again, if you trade the extremes, it makes sense. VIX, talked about this hitting the all of the confluence of moving averages, backs off again into the close. VIVIX, which bottomed first, always does, did not make a new high. So it's just kind of a question mark. I guess the market really waiting for Nvidia earnings. Just keep that in mind. SPY, and we'll talk about them here shortly. Talked about the 490 level. Doji sandwich. Right, 20-day, 490. Just seems to be stuck. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Again, after hours, futures don't seem to be moving very much yet, but we'll see. Again, QQQ down a little bit. Pan W down a little bit. I mean, Doji Day as well. Really confusing for the bulls. Watching the old range highs from July that were highs. Seems to be stuck under this 504, 505 area. Keep an eye on it. IWM, as we talked about, was due to bounce. Hit the 20-day, hit the old blue zone of support. Man, this stuff isn't rocket science. You go down big. At worst, you backfill and chop. I mean, I'd be watching 233 if you got up there. That would, to me, would be easy. Dia, we talked about this, right? Same kind of thing. Backfilling, just worth watching. Gold, geopolitical risk. Seems to be gold has its own thing. We've talked about potentially just, we said oversold due to bounce. I'm not really sure what levels. Probably that 50-day. I think you could see extreme to here. That's what I'd be watching. Silver, again, as we talk about, like even silver and the miners bounce, but they're just so weak. They don't really look that good. That's where it tells me, like, these lead in bull markets. They're leading down, so to me it says the bull market in metals officially hasn't started yet. I think it's coming. We've talked about that, but I would be very patient. I've seen them absolutely destroy miners and metals before, and especially silver. AEM, 50-day, nice bounce. And we talked about a lot of these names being oversold near term. AG, all these confluence of moving averages. Newmont made sense to hold this like 40 area. It goes from 658 down. This thing got freaking whacked. Pass, same kind of thing. Oversold, chopping around here at support. Keep an eye on it. Taiwan Semi, no bounce today, just chopping. Seems to be stuck at this 50-day. Again, the top is in. It's just a matter of what the velocity and what starts the next down move, in my opinion. Again, Micron, nothing. Hits the range, highs at like 113, 114, gives it up. AM Dizzle. Again, their CFO is leaving. Something is fishy here. I would keep an eye on it. I personally, again, I think the short is with the Soxus. If you want to play the individual names, just be careful. Personally not going to play the individual names. Might play Nvidia. Watching after hours, it's at 142. Their growth rate was 93%. And this is what we tell people. You got to be careful when growth rates get rather large, because at some point their growth rate is not sustainable. And so their growth rate's 90%. And the next quarter it's 70%. Then it's 50. And then it's 38. And then it's 14. Get the point here? You're not going to get those multiple expansions. You're going to get multiple contraction from here. This is why if you fail the 20-day, I don't know why you wouldn't keep coming back down. We'll see what happens. They've got their chat live, their conference call. We'll see how it acts. Keep an eye on it. Good old SMCI. Again, this is hard, man. If their numbers were real, you believe in it. Not right now. I can't really, just watching it. I think it's kind of bottoming, but I've seen stocks like that go to zero too. Intel, we talked about this. Loves to channel up before the next move down. SMH, maybe it's the bottom. I don't trust it at all, but we talked about this one again. Lower highs, double top. Breaks the 200-day. Watch out, bulls. Adobe, oversold bounce. Gives it back pretty quickly. Apple seems to be stuck here, right? Seems to be stuck here. Multiple day range. We're watching that 230 area. Amazon, Bezos sells all the stock. Now can it rise or now can it fall? That's what I'd be curious about. That's what I'd be watching. Meta. We talked about it bouncing around here. I'd be watching that 570s. Keep an eye on, see what happens there. CRM. This one been on a rocket, starting to pull back. We talked about the first bounce off. First dip should get bought. I'd be watching. If the dip is shallower, then this gap becomes in play. If the dip is bigger, then I think you can get, more amplitude here. Could you double top? That's what I'd be watching for. Guggenheim. Talked about this one. Just seeing, a lot of these names, leading tech names, are just chopping. Now, again, leading tech meaning the old four horsemen. Google, Microsoft, Meta, Apple. Microsoft, nothing. NDAQ. Again, I think the short is so clear on this one, but keep an eye on it. I personally don't have a position, but I'm watching. MicroStrategy, we said on the tweets, would you be surprised if you got to 500 today? Nope. Again, once we got over 400, the way that this thing is acting to market cap, we've talked about it. Palantir is way more expensive than MicroStrategy. I think this is trading at 3 times Bitcoin value at this point. Yeah. I mean, near term, this feels very top-ish. Now, I'm not saying I don't know. You don't know anything for sure. But if I'm a bull, you should expect some chop. Makes sense. Netflix makes new highs again. I thought it was done again. I'm not just like frustrated. Like, what is this thing? It's a piece of crap. But people seem to be using it. You can't fault it. Roblox chopping around, starting to look like a little Head and Shoulders top, y'all. Keep an eye on it. Pan W. We've talked about this being a strong name. Earnings were all right after hours, but it's back at 371. Like I said, I'd love for them to flush this thing and then buy it a couple months from now. Tesla, maybe March. Holding up pretty tight, high and tight. And talks about automated driving systems is going to get approval, maybe. I mean, this has been a nice run. That's why you have to be careful. Like, you just don't know when the extreme is. And that's why we talk about layering in, layering out. Insight, nice little pullback here. Got bought. Back at the trend line. Again, I'm hoping they throw the baby out the bathwater and the RFK stuff really crushes some of these bios. Palantir, talked about this being extremely expensive, extremely overbought. Nice bounce. We talked to, like, there was another leg potentially. Look at that. Oof. That to me is the final leg. Now, final for like forever. I don't know. I probably not. But my point being is, like, now you need to take a break, right? You have a nice amplitude of waving and then straight shot at the end. Remember we talked about straight line moves at the end? Could it go higher? I mean, absolutely, but the straight line move is there. Keep an eye on it. Mickey D's. Da-da-da-da-da. Chopping around under range lows. We've talked about DKNG. Again, we like this for short up here. I mean, it makes sense around here. I mean, you see the 44, 45 area. I mean, slap your dog. Slap a short on that thing. To me, it makes sense. I mean, people are not running around with tons of cash to bet on sports. And if they are, again, it's not sustainable. Airbnb, decent bounce today. I mean, it's been oversold. Not really much. Costco, keep an eye on it. Chopping around. Starbucks, keep an eye on it. Chopping around. Federal Express. 1 second. Chopping around. I mean, we talked about the short up here. I posted this morning. I love it up here. Nice action. Not gonna say it was easy, but we talked about this. Keep an eye on that. Caterpillar, 50-day broke, but it back tests. I mean, this is where it's hard. Like, the market holds up. You can't really always, not always, you just can't get too excited about shorts. And if the market chops, you can't really get too excited about longs unless it's certain positions, like blowing off, like MicroStrategy. Deer, chopping around against the range highs. Nucor seems, again, to be stuck. I mean, I'd love to see it down here. See it down here and see what happens again. X, we talked about, they're going to get bought out. Worth a watch. VALE, this is what's interesting, right? You talk about global supply and commodity names like getting crushed. That's what I want to see. I mean, I don't know how much lower they could go, but it makes sense. Arrow, talked about oversold bounce. CCJ uranium names holding up really damn well. Is this a cup and handle? Like, here's the weird cup. Here's the handle. I mean, I'd be watching. It's not great that it didn't close over the new highs, but you did make new highs. So it's kind of one of those things you go, need a little more information. CF has been holding up really well. The ag names, Mosaic, not so much. These names have been just flopping and chopping. NTR, same thing, just stuck at the lows. Keep an eye on it. AA Aeron, we like aluminum, right? We love aluminum. I think it's going to be a lot of things. Just keep an eye on it. XLF, felt like today might be a day where it starts to melt. I mean, I don't know. You tell me, right? How good does that really look? I mean, it feels like an island, massive island floating reversal. That's my guess on it. JP Morgan, keep an eye on it, right? Chopping, looks like a double top. Morgan Stanley broke out to new highs. Just chopping around. Bank of America, again, chopping around. I mean, all of these feel like huge bull traps. I mean, remember, banks hold all the bags, baby. Goldman Sachs, same kind of thing. KRE, we talked about this. And again, this is what's interesting. Blow off top, gap up, post-election, no follow-through. XBI, we've talked about this again. BIOS, right? They got issues, right? They got issues, right? Look at this. Now you come back to support. Now what? Good question, right? You don't know for sure, but we do know that biotech in general might have some issues with RFK. So again, another risk on name, not really pulling back. Jets, keep an eye on this, right? 20-day. We talked about this being a blow off top. You're welcome. You filled the gap. Now you're chopping. Keep an eye on it. XHB, housing, holding the 100-day. Again, with interest rates all over the place. Tough to say. Looking at XRT, because there's some real estate, or it's not, some retailers today with Target getting. Keep an eye on this, right? Like, it just doesn't really look that good. Solar, we talked about the solar crush. I mean, it's due to bounce, right? Right? You think? I don't know. So just keep an eye on it. I mean, I personally think we're going to be stuck down here. I mean, you do to bounce. It's just how much. Sedge. I talked about this name getting crushed. I mean, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. ENPH. Crushed, right? Keep an eye on it. First Solar, chopping around. HYG, got to be out of your mind to buy corporate debt. Oof, yikes. Oil. Near term geopolitical risk. I mean, remember, we talk about big chop ranges. Just be careful with these. Now, they wait for an extreme pullback. UNG, we've talked about this. I hate this product. It's due to bounce. Looks all right. KOLD, we talked about the short in the 80s. Hi, Chihuahua. Yeah, come on down. Again, I hope we get another chance there. I've seen this thing be pretty wild. XOP, definitely chopped at the 200-day. Broke. Okay. We'll see what happens here. Again, I personally like this stuff long term, but I'm going to be patient. CVE, we like this level down here. We talked about Valero and the gasoline name, just kind of kicking it off the lows, right? Nothing really too much. ExxonMobil. Keep an eye on this, right? Keep an eye on this. Keep an eye on this. Occidental. Again, that makes sense to me here. Keep an eye on this stuff. Now, again, I don't know how much really downside there is, but I think these chop zones will play out. That's what's so hard, right? EQT, here's the one that we talk about. Like, once you broke the downtrend to 44s, all right, well, that's looking pretty strong. You consolidated there for a couple days. You gapped up. Is it going to do this where you gap up, stair step, or is it due for a break because you're coming against some references? That's the question you got to ask yourself if you're bullish on this one. You come into some references. You can get up to 50, then you take a break, or is it going to take a break here and then take another leg up? Hard to know for sure near term. Last but not least, Flex LNG again. I think we'll be natural gas exporters. I'm very confident of this. Very confident of this trade long term. All right. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I appreciate the love, support, generous donations. Leave a comment below me how I can help. And yeah, let's connect. I'd love to help you out with real estate too. I mean, I'm telling you, so many opportunities at real estate. It's good. All right. Talk to y'all later.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.